There was a jumble sale up at the Scout Hut. Not last Sunday, Sunday before. And our Walter knew he were first in the queue. He took a flask and camped at the door. He woke up on step the next morning with a stiff neck, wet pants and backache. He had to retrieve his belongings that his mam gave away by mistake. The Bruins book didn't concern him, nor his clothes, at rest of the clutter. It were his old woolly mitts, all holy and split, that made him behave like a nutter. He paid 10 pence to get the mitts back. They thought he were out of his head. Paying that for some raggy old mittens, but he'd have paid 'em 10 quid if they'd said. See, the mitts had been knit by his grandma from an old Persian rug she'd unravelled. It were an ugly old matted up eyesore that Grandpa picked up on his travels. Nobody knew it were magic. He'd got it from some old bazaar when travelling the world with a circus as a clown. Are you with me so far? Well, nobody knew of its powers, and Grandpa himself is long gone. In fact, we don't know if he'd give it a go. If he had, well, he hadn't let on. You see, to get the carpet to work, you need to say alakazam. But if you weren't shown, you wouldn't have known, so it sat on the floor at his grand's. Its powers were passed to the Mittens, but still no one knew what were what. Till one day last March, young Walter put the mitts on to go to the shop. 'Cause Walter were apprenticing garage in the back lane behind the co-op. And in keeping with motor trade traditions, at dinner times got sent to the shop. Now one day his list got blown from his hand, but all the blokes still got fed. 'Cause he'd a right good memory, had Walter. He could recite it off top of his head. 'Cause Ray had cheese and Duffy had egg and a bacon and brown sauce for Jimmy. And Billy has spam and Alec has ham. 'Course he said magic word. Are you with me? Yes, alakazam was the mystical word. Walter were quite overcome, for a voice said, "You are my master," and seemed to come from a hole in the thumb. "Magic mitten at your command. Say where you'd like me to fly." "Cup final next May," said Walter, being daft. Thumb said, "I'll give it a try." They soared away through time and space to Wembley and landed next May. I won't say who won, 'cause it spoils all the fun, but he cheered when his team saved the day. After the match, he were landed intact at the garage, where lads were stood round, saying, "Where have you been for us sarnies? And what you doing 3 foot off the ground?" So he told them the tale of the Mittens, how he'd said magic word in the shop. "So what was it you said then?" said Alec. "I'm buggered if I know, I forgot." "It'd likely be abracadabra," said Ray, who knew nowt about out, and they spent rest at day suggesting, but managed to come up with nowt. Now the trip only took 'em 10 minutes, but the ham had gone off during flight, and poor Alec got food poisoning and had deja vu with Sarnie that night. But Walter still hopes, as he goes for the grub, that he one day might get a repeat. But he's not likely to say alakazam anymore. Alec's turned veggie and give up on meat.